Welcome to the studio. It's Froyle here and I'm so glad you've joined me. Today we're creating a beautiful mixed media painting with multiple layers using stencils, spray paint and fluid art. Now I've got my 16 by 20 inch canvas and this is what I call an imprint pour, and I'm starting with this fabulous stencil of these trees. I'm wanting to create a multi-layered beautiful mixed media painting inspired by the feeling of these trees, so I'm starting with them on the bottom layer of the canvas. I'm using the Liquitex spray paint. This is an acrylic spray paint. I love it because it's compatible with other acrylic paints and it's low odor, it's water cleanup, it's low stress, it's no mess. So I'm spraying turquoise trees onto my canvas. This is the direction I'm heading today. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to go. I've just got a bit of an idea in my mind of what I want to create. Now, once you put the stencil on the canvas, sometimes you might need to do a little bit of cleanup. You might not want the hard edge of the stencil. So if you get a baby wipe or a damp soft cloth straight away, you can remove the spray paint that you don't want there. I do like to wipe out the hard lines of the stencils. I could have masked it out with paper beforehand, but nah, I was being a bit lazy. I just thought I'd wipe it off if I didn't want it there. It really doesn't take too long for that stencil layer to dry, and then is the fun part of pouring all the paint on. Now I've got a mix of different paints. I'm using a lot of the Liquitex pouring medium. I've been experimenting recently with 9 different pouring mediums. So a few of these mixtures might be some of the other ones. I've got some beautiful blue colors that I've mixed together, and a lot of these paints are actually leftovers. I've also got some beautiful metallic white pearl that I'm putting in as well. Some of the paints are quite thick and opaque, and some of them have been mixed with a lot of the Liquitex pouring medium, so they're more thin and more transparent and more like a glaze. I'm wanting to mix these paints together on the canvas to create more of a three-dimensional look, with the thicker paints that are going to be sitting on top and the thinner ones look like they're sitting in the background. The only tricky part with this kind of technique is you're not exactly sure how the paints are going to mix together. You're not sure how thick or thin your consistencies really are, because some of the transparent ones weren't as transparent as I thought they might be. And also the paint is so fluid that it moves around so much. So where you put it down to start with isn't always where it finishes. And remembering, I've got my beautiful trees in the background that I would like to see when the painting is finished. But no fear, we push on, and you can always wipe some of the paint off, which is what I did at some stage. And I put on some more of the clear Liquitex pouring medium so you get more of that transparency. I think it's looking pretty good. I like the way it's got the strong opaque colors at the top and the bottom of the canvas, and through the middle I put more of that transparent Liquitex pouring medium, and you can still see my stenciled trees. So I think we're doing okay. As long as the different mediums in my paints don't crack, yeah, everything will be okay. Now I gave the canvas a tilt around and then I put it down and let it settle. Have a look at how beautiful it is. The colors have mixed well, but my only concern is that as it dries, it does keep moving because it is very fluid, especially if it's just a lot of the Liquitex pouring medium and a little bit of ink for the transparent layers. They tend to move the most. Where the paint is thicker and opaque, it doesn't move as much, so it's not so bad. But we'll just have to wait and see how it moves, if it moves in the right direction. And hopefully my trees will survive the journey. Wow, I absolutely love how well the painting has dried. Now, when you're working with such fluid paint as this was, it is going to experience a little movement in the drying. So you'll have to remember that. Make sure you have it perfectly level on your table, but it does tend to still move, especially the paint that's just got a bit of paint and a lot of pouring medium, because that's very thin and fluid and does tend to keep creeping. But I'm pretty happy with the composition. I absolutely love the combination of the transparent paint and the opaque paint. I love how well they look together. There's no cracks in it. The Liquitex always works well with a lot of different paints and inks I have found. In the testing of all of the mediums that I've been using, Liquitex by far is outshining everybody else for a versatile mixed media application where it's very experimental. So I'm loving this. I think it looks fabulous. What I would like to do now is bring this stencil back and put a silver tree shape on the top here just to create another layer. So we've got this fabulous imprint layer underneath with the stencil. We've then got some transparent paint. We've got some opaque paint. We've got this layer here that's covering this section really nicely. So I just want to add a little bit of texture here, creating another layer on top with the same stencil. So I think I'm going to give it a spray with some spray paint. I know it's a little risky. It's definitely a little risky, but I'm really liking this idea. I really like the pattern and texture of this stencil and the trees and the branches. So I'm thinking I'm going to put it in a similar place. Let's think about where we want it. Maybe there. Now, I don't want necessarily that hard line there. So I'm thinking I'm going to put some, I might even tape it, some paper down to cover these areas where I don't want the spray paint to go, because the overspray is pretty real. Then I'm going to give it a spray with the fabulous Liquitex acrylic spray paint in the rich silver. Wow, the tree stencil looks absolutely fabulous, and I'm so excited and relieved. It could have turned out quite badly, but it's in the right spot. It's looking fabulous, and what I wanted to create was having those layers, seeing the darker trees behind and the silver tree on top, and all of those beautiful shades of blues and grays in the glorious fluid paint. I'm so happy. Now, when it was all completely dry, I pulled out the liquid glass. I really like this product. It dries beautiful and glossy and thick, and it looks very resinous. I wanted to create that thick coated layer on top, and I knew it would bring out all of the beautiful colors of the painting. So I like to put it on with a palette knife. It's pretty simple. It self-levels, and then you just wait for it to dry. I do like to tip it up towards the light to make sure I haven't left any holes in it, and I've got a good even coating all on the painting. And then ta-da, ta-da, look how beautiful it is. I'm so happy with this fabulous mixed media piece. It was a little experimental. Yes, it was, absolutely. It could have gone to custard at any step of the way. But you can see the beautiful imprint of the stencil underneath the dark turquoise trees there. And then there's the flow of the fluid paint. It's looking beautiful. The sky color is rather stunning. And then all this down here, it worked out so well. And then the fabulous silver trees on the top. I think it's beautiful. I'm just loving it. It looks like they're caught in a waterfall somewhere. But the colors are rich. The textures look beautiful, and don't you just love the finish of a fluid painting? The liquid glass brings up all of the colors, and I'm pretty happy with the whole experiment. And it was a bit of an experiment, but there's so many possibilities, so many directions we could go. What can you think of putting in the first layer underneath? And then what other shapes can we put on the top layer? It's endless. And so much fun. I hope you were encouraged and inspired today to try some different techniques with your mixed media paintings, because there's so many things we can do and so many experiments with this Imprint Pour idea. I think this is definitely one of my favorite paintings right now. These techniques are so exciting to be exploring. And I know it's going to look stunning up on the wall. Now, if you want to find more information on the products I'm using, you'll find that in the description under the video. You can also find out more of who I am on FroyleArt.com. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you are encouraged with your own paintings to take another step forward and expand your ideas and to create something really special. So I'll see you next time in the studio.